Homer drove home to find two women standing at his door, and one of them actually came to find Homer. Only then did Homer remember that he had gotten married in Las Vegas. He even showed Marge the replay footage. However, Homer attributed it all to having had too much to drink. Marge was furious after hearing this and stormed off, leaving everyone else stunned in place. Seeing this, Homer quickly went to apologize to Marge. He swore that he absolutely hadn't cheated on her, but Marge couldn't accept it right away and didn't want to forgive Homer. Homer promised he would come back with a divorce agreement from his mistress. However, the judge ruled that Homer's actions were legal and ordered him to take care of both wives.
Bailiff, ring him!
After returning home, Marge kicked Homer out of the house. Homer still wanted to win Marge back, but she didn't want to see him at all right now. Left with no choice, Homer went to sleep alone in the treehouse. To his surprise, Amber followed him up there. She had brought Homer's favorite food, and he simply couldn't refuse.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah. Faster! Oh, you do that like a pro!
Meanwhile, Ginger went to Flanders' house. Flanders even thanked God for blessing him with a new wife, though she was more hardcore than the previous one.
Hey, stud, where do you keep your wet ones? I need a shower.
Oh, we've got a real shower upstairs.
Upstairs? I hit the jackpot!
The next day, Flanders and the kids prepared breakfast for Ginger. After taking a sip, she said she wanted alcohol instead, but there was no alcohol in the Flanders household at all. Ginger had to search the drawers for her cigarettes, only to discover that the kids had flushed them down the toilet.
Smokers are jokers! I think I'm gonna throw up.
Who wants to hold Mommy's hair?
Me!
The next day, Bart asked Amber how long she planned to stay. Amber replied that she wasn't going anywhere. She had even settled in with all her belongings. To build a good relationship with the two kids, Amber decided to teach Lisa how to put on makeup.
I'm 8 years old.
You could look 7. And I could teach you to count cards.
I already got a system.
Homer felt extremely depressed about having two wives, but everyone else thought Homer should be very happy. After watching Marge draw the curtains, Homer went to sleep in the treehouse, but seeing Amber already up there immediately changed his mind. He had to crawl into the doghouse instead. However, Homer was too fat and got stuck halfway.
Can't panic. Must remain calm.
So Homer ended up sleeping in the yard all night. Then Marge found Homer and wanted to have a proper talk with him, but it ended with them having a huge fight, and Homer was kicked out of the house. Marge even demanded that Homer take his mistress and leave. Left with no choice, Homer had to leave with Amber. Little did she know, this was all part of their plan. Homer and Amber went to a bar. By then, Amber was completely drunk. When she woke up again, she was already in the treehouse. She skillfully took aspirin and abortion pills. At that moment, Abe appeared beside her. Abe said they had gotten married the night before. Amber couldn't believe it until she saw the replay on TV.
You crapped out, Vegas Mom.
Now Abe had a new wife and was overjoyed. Seeing his sleazy smile, Amber was terrified. At this time, Ginger also ran out of Flanders' house. The two women hit it off and decided to drive back to Las Vegas together. As long as the family stuck together, they would be unstoppable.
Oh, I lost another wife.
I'm so sorry, Grandpa.
Well, it hurts now, but the senility will take care of that. There she goes.
Homer slapped the remote control into a bag of snacks. The family dog saw it and accidentally swallowed the remote. Just then, the game reached a critical moment, but the TV started changing channels on its own. Homer immediately searched for the remote, but couldn't find it anywhere. He even lifted up the carpet.
Hello?
Lisa noticed that every time the dog barked, the TV would change channels. Homer immediately tried to force the dog to cough up the remote, but his actions made the dog uncomfortable, so it escaped from his arms. Homer chased after it right away, but his overweight body got stuck in the doorway. Patty and Selma seized this opportunity to give Homer a makeover. Unable to resist, Homer could only struggle helplessly. He even got kicked by Bart.
Oh, after my makeover, I'm gonna get you, boy.
At that moment, Bart saw on the news that a top rap artist was coming to perform in Springfield. Bart was very interested and asked Homer for $50 to buy a ticket.
Go to hell.
Okay, what if I pay for it myself?
Fine, go nuts.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too, Jerry.
That evening, Bart was about to head to the concert with his ticket, but Marge wouldn't let him go to a show full of profanity. Although Homer had promised Bart he could go if he bought his own ticket, now that Marge had dropped this bombshell, Homer had to change his stance. Bart returned to his room heartbroken. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got, feeling that Homer had betrayed him. So Bart escaped through the window and went to the concert alone. He even got on stage and freestyled a rap. But when he got home, Homer and Marge couldn't find Bart and were furious. Homer even wanted to whip him with a belt.
Well, time to face my punishment like a man. Or lie my way out of it like a kid.
Bart climbed up to the treehouse and threw down his t-shirt. Then he wrote a message on a piece of paper, wrapped it around a rock, and threw it into the house. Marge opened it and found it said Bart had been kidnapped. Homer felt deeply regretful. He should have let Bart go to the concert. After Bart's kidnapping, TV stations and police sprang into action. Now patrol cars were cruising every street. Bart needed to find a place to hide until people forgot about the whole thing. So Milhouse took Bart to his dad's bachelor apartment. Then Homer received a call from the kidnapper, but he didn't realize the voice on the other end was actually Bart. Seeing how worried Marge was, Bart confessed his identity. But before he could say anything else, Milhouse's dad came home and Bart hurriedly hung up. After monitoring the call, the police rushed back to the station to analyze it carefully. They detected the sound of discount popcorn in the background. Only 2 people in Springfield bought that popcorn. One was the officer himself, and the other was Milhouse's dad. The police immediately went to Milhouse's dad's bachelor apartment and found Bart in the room. Bart tried to explain that he hadn't been kidnapped, but the police wouldn't listen and arrested Milhouse's dad anyway. Bart was brought home by the police. Marge was overjoyed to see Bart safe, but surprisingly, Homer had already prepared a tombstone for Bart.
Ay, caramba!
The only one hurt in this whole incident was Milhouse's dad, who was thrown in jail for no reason. Seeing how pitiful Milhouse looked, Bart decided to tell the truth. When Chief Wiggum learned it was all a hoax, he had a breakdown. He didn't want to lose everything he'd gained from this case, and he had no idea how to explain it to his own kids. As for Milhouse's dad, Wiggum figured prison was the best place for him anyway, since he was quite popular with the women of Springfield in there. So in the end, everyone came out a winner. One day, Lisa found Bart's concert t-shirt outside the treehouse. She immediately told Homer about it, but Homer threw the shirt into the furnace. Apparently, some Hollywood people had paid him for the rights to Bart's story, but Homer had already lost that money, so he needed to destroy all evidence that contradicted the official story. Homer even threw his own clothes and pants into the furnace.
Burn the truth. Burn the truth.
Homer set off a string of fireworks on the deck. The fireworks were beautiful, but then a spark drifted down from the sky and landed on the deck. The fire spread rapidly, and Homer was blasted into the sea. Everyone panicked and fled at the sight. Homer washed up on a beach, where the locals immediately surrounded him and beat him up. He was then tied up and hung from a boat for public shaming. Seeing this, Marge pleaded with the crowd, explaining that Homer had no intention of hurting anyone. The residents suggested that Homer repay his debt by catching fish. Soon, Homer was hoisted onto a boat and headed out to sea. The boat sailed to the fishing grounds, but all they reeled in was a pile of garbage. Not a single tasty fish, just some strange-looking ones.
Good. Finally, something even I wouldn't eat. Well, maybe a little more. Terrible!
That evening, Homer made beer-battered shrimp for everyone, but the ingredients he used turned out to be fishing bait. The captain immediately went to check the hooks, and was surprised to find that the bait had attracted a huge school of delicious fish. There were so many that they nearly gnawed the boat apart. The crew quickly hauled them in. Just then, the weather forecast warned of an approaching superstorm, but Homer and the crew were still busy fishing. The crew noticed the strange weather, but the captain insisted on catching every last fish before heading back. He claimed that if a storm were coming, his knee would twitch involuntarily.
Dear God.
The dark clouds crept closer and closer to the fishing boat as heavy rain began to pour. The captain steered through the raging waves. Massive swells crashed against the boat, and seawater shattered the windows and flooded inside. The boat was on the verge of breaking apart. The captain ordered the crew to get the life raft, but to their shock, Bart had been hiding in the cabin all along.
Dad, I couldn't stay with Mom and Lisa while you were out here.
Aw, son.
The waves grew even more violent, and water rose past their ankles inside the boat. A gigantic wave was about to crash down on them. Incredibly, Homer was still in the mood to play golf. Then a towering wall of water surged toward them. The overwhelming force terrified everyone on board. In the end, they couldn't escape the waves' assault. Seawater poured into the boat and eventually swallowed it whole. Adrift at sea, Homer prayed to God for their safe return and asked that Marge never remarry after his death.
Do you think your mother will ever remarry?
In about 2 seconds.
You little... Just see if I die!
The townspeople assumed the crew had perished and held a funeral for them at the church. Marge couldn't accept the news, but just then, Homer and the others appeared before everyone. Marge and Lisa were stunned. They embraced each other with overwhelming emotion. As it turned out, Homer and the crew had been in serious trouble. But then Homer noticed a glow nearby. It was so beautiful that he couldn't resist swimming down to investigate. He discovered a colony of mermaids living on the ocean floor, but it was all just a hallucination. He had gotten tangled in seaweed underwater, and Bart had to rescue him. Shortly after, a fishing net scooped them all up.
I can't go back to living on the surface world! I can't! Then they brought us home.
The captain still wanted to take everyone out fishing again, but Lisa stopped them. She warned that overfishing and greed would only bring disaster and destruction to the town. She urged everyone to change their ways before it was too late. The captain took Lisa's words to heart and admitted there must be other ways to make a living besides fishing, but what Lisa didn't expect was that they would turn to logging instead.
This is not what I wanted at all.
Homer was frantically banging on the movie screen in the cinema. He even incited the audience below to join him. Hearing the commotion, the ushers outside prepared to teach them a lesson. Each armed with a chocolate bar, they surrounded Homer. Seeing this, Homer immediately fled the cinema. During the chase, Homer accidentally crashed into a statue.
My mouth! My beautiful mouth!
excellent bout. Now we go party.
After examining him, the doctor said Homer's jaw was damaged and that he wouldn't be able to speak for a while. He couldn't even eat solid food anymore. Upon hearing this, Homer immediately ran to a suicide booth. Marge tried desperately to stop him, but the machine had no effect on Homer whatsoever. Back home, Homer cut himself a piece of steak, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get it into his mouth. In the end, he actually stuffed the steak up his nose and ate it that way. One day, Homer was drinking at the bar when a Duff Beer spokesperson held a trivia contest at Moe's Tavern. Anyone who answered correctly would win a lifetime supply of Duff Beer. When Homer heard the question, he knew the answer, but wearing his jaw brace, he couldn't speak. Ultimately, Homer missed out on the grand prize.
I never would have figured that out.
That's the kind of thing you just gotta know.
However, the brace also brought Homer many benefits. For instance, he learned to patiently listen to Marge talk. He could also feed Maggie. Watching Maggie learn to speak was adorable, and Homer couldn't resist wanting to give her a kiss. But his brace got hooked on Maggie's pacifier. After stopping, Homer found a new pacifier in the drawer and replaced it for Maggie. Just then, Lisa came home looking angry. Seeing this, Homer asked Lisa what had happened. Lisa was shocked by Homer's behavior, but she still told him what had happened at school. After listening, Homer simply gave Lisa a hug, but even just a hug could warm Lisa's heart. Afterward, Homer not only played with toys alongside Bart, he even sat on the floor patiently listening to Abe tell stories. Then Marge told Homer that Springfield would be holding a dance the next day. Although Homer had made a fool of himself on stage last year, fortunately, he was well behaved now with his brace on, so Marge planned to take Homer along.
I better polish those jaw wires for tomorrow.
Soon enough, Homer removed his brace. He told his friends how wearing it had helped him understand his family much better. Homer's behavior even made it onto television. After some time, Marge actually found this kind of life too dull. Homer had completely changed. He no longer did crazy things. Marge couldn't even adapt to this lifestyle for a while. She lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. Just then, a demolition derby registration form appeared before her. Without a second thought, Marge left.
Marge? Marge is gone! But at least the demolition derby form is... What? No!
Marge drove to the competition venue with her helmet on. After ramming into one car, she felt this was how life should be. Then a car started continuously crashing into Marge. Homer and the kids also arrived at the competition. Seeing this, Lisa wanted Homer to save Marge, but Homer didn't know what to do now. Seeing this, Bart pulled out a bottle of beer and had Homer drink it down.
This beer's delicious. I'm gonna save me way. Now let's get this show on the road.
Homer appeared at the competition riding a donkey. He jumped onto the car and successfully rescued Marge.
You saved her! Oh, isn't it great to have the old dad back? I thought you liked the new dad. Whatever.